Hi everyone, sorry about the mess. I had just had a fairly unsuccessful painting day, and while I had paints out, I just grabbed some coasters because I need to restock my Etsy shop for the holidays. So I was like, I'm just going to use some of these colors on a coaster and do some swipes. So these are Hexagon coasters from Home Depot. They're not perfectly flat, so that's why I kind of prefer doing swipes on them because the paint kind of tends to shift and move. So I was like, I'm going to use the same colors that I just did on a swipe and do some swipes on some coasters. So that is the Indanthrene blue, which is kind of an indigo blue from Holbein. And I will say the paint was too thick and I left too much on. That's Sparkling Aqua from Colourarte, PrizmPour. And that's Agave blue Agave from PrizmPour, Colourarte. And that is Indigo Violet, Colourarte PrizmPour, and Australian Red Violet from Matisse. These are the same colors I did in my recent swipe video. And I used a blue-black Cell Activator, and I used that palette knife. So what you don't see is me loading the Cell Activator on the palette knife. And it's been a while since I've swiped on something this small, so I was like, messy. So that was not my best work. But, you know, coasters are pretty forgiving. It's just I wasn't doing the best job. So these did crack as they dried, which made me so sad. But what I did is I took a little paintbrush and I filled in the cracks with the Cell Activator. And so they're still going to be pretty under resin. I was just pretty upset that happened. So the set will still be really beautiful, and the colors are just like magic together. They would be really pretty with a white Cell Activator too. So doing coasters like that, at first I kind of intended for them to have negative space, and then this first one has a tiny bit, but then the paint moved and it didn't. So the future 3 really don't have much negative space, so I just kind of rolled with it. So you can see, like, this is the bottom of my pillow paint container, and it's really thick, and by this time it's been open probably. So it's just, I use too many colors to keep it thin enough. So, you know, and I usually cover everything as it dries with like a picnic table food net type thing, which doesn't really slow down the drying all that much, but I didn't cover it at all. And so I don't know if that contributed to the cracking. It was a lot of paint and it was thick, so whatever, it cracked, but it's fine. I fixed it enough to redeem it anyway. So and there was a ton of bubbles in my pillow paint, so it was unfortunate how long it took to pop them. But anyway, they turned out pretty, so I figured I'd share them with you. Plus, if I wanted to do them again, if I have a video of it, it makes it easier to somewhat duplicate. So you can see there's a little bit of white negative space now. See how pretty those colors are together? That white negative space just kind of goes away because as they sat, they started to drip a little. So this is the second one. And you can see me covering up the corners with some paint that's already on the spinner. And that's just my desire to like not use too much pillow paint. There's way too much pillow paint on here, but make sure everything gets covered. So I reversed the order a little bit of how I did things because I honestly didn't remember how I layered all of the paint. But that's a lot of paint for a little coaster. So looking back, I'm not very surprised that it cracked, but whatever, here we are, you know. So each one is a little different, which is kind of cool. If you don't want to swipe using like a tool and have to deal with the movement issue where you kind of get into the pillow paint like I did, you can also use like paint swatches, like the color samples they have at Lowe's and Home Depot. I used those a lot when I first started swiping, and they work great. You can put Cell Activator on the bottom of it and swipe it across. And I think the next time If I kind of want to keep more of just a sheet of color, that's probably what I'll do. But sometimes that's, especially if you're like doing blooms and you're frustrated and you're not getting the blow down and that kind of stuff, doing swipes in between is a really good way to kind of practice and get a good result that you're happy with without getting super frustrated. So for me, before I became a little bit more proficient in getting the blow down, swipes were my bread and butter. So that's the second one. Here's the third one. I remember when I first started swiping, I used those little paint cards a lot, because sometimes a nice like cardboard is really easy to control, and I still have stacks of them so that I can do that. And I still sometimes like to just do like a long canvas and swipe like that. Some of my favorite swipes I've ever done have been like that. So like, I love negative space swipes and I love to use a palette knife, but sometimes I really enjoy doing that. And so if you get frustrated in the process, it's a nice way to break it up, you know. And I love to do big paintings, small paintings, but coasters are such great gifts. And when you want to avoid having massive amounts of paint just stacking up and getting thick and all that, sometimes it's nice when you already have your paints out and you're about to put stuff away to just crank out a set of coasters real quick. I have boxes of coaster tiles, so I really need to step up my coaster game. It's almost Christmas at the time that I'm recording this, and last year my Etsy shop got so bare around Christmas time, and so I need to get ahead of the game and start getting stuff stocked up. And so it's a great way to make sure you're not wasting paint and just letting it sit there. Coasters are a ton of work, you know. Everybody thinks that they're not. They're, for being so small, you know, resin, sand them, cork back them. I mean, they're probably just as much work as finishing a painting, but they're great gifts and everyone loves them. And so, and I still enjoy doing them. So I think they're a lot of fun. And these colors together are amazing. I did end up using pretty much all of my PrizmPour colors that I had mixed up, so now I can mix up a fresh batch if I want. So I'm trying to do better about using up the colors I have mixed instead of just mixing more colors and mixing more colors. And there's a new set of primary elements out, so I can't wait to mix those up, but I want to make sure I'm using what I mix up. So yeah, don't forget, there is a discount code below for Colourarte. You can save 20% off using Mandy1120. I also use Aussie Floetrol in my Cell Activator. And there's a Pixel Paint Designs link and a discount code to save 10%. So don't forget to take advantage of the discount codes in the description box. I have been doing a lot more geode work lately, so I've been trying to not forsake my regular stuff. So this one's kind of weird that that edge looks kind of strange, but I think under resin it'll look fine. Beautiful colors. All right, last but not least, you can see I was running out of paint and using up my corner paint came from the spinner. The only thing that's kind of challenging about these hexagon shapes for swipes is, in order to not completely morph your design, you almost have to put too much pillow paint on, and as I mentioned, that caused cracking. With blooms, it's not as difficult because when you spin it, it's kind of spinning out equally, but with the swipes, it didn't seem to be the same, so it's okay. We learn from experience. I really like to use black pillow when I do these because it's so dramatic, and you can use just a little bit of color and it's so beautiful. But my black pillow paint was not decanted into a smaller container, and I knew I was going to have to stir it a lot and it was going to have bubbles, so next time. But yeah, hopefully you guys like these. I think that they're really beautiful. I'll try to share at least a resined result once one of them gets resined. They're not resined yet, but Trying to fix what I did there, but it's not working out. But anyway, I think even though they cracked, which made my heart sad, I think I was able to redeem them well enough where they'll still be really beautiful under resin. So these PrizmPour colors are incredible. They're just incredible. So, and there is a new fall primary elements set out. I'll try to remember to link it in this video if I remember. So I haven't been able to do a color preview, but once I get them, I will. They're really cool. And, you know, Leslie always knocks it out of the park with these beautiful colors. So it'll be great to play around with those. Ooh, it's blurry, sorry. All right, here's this little guy. Thanks so much for watching and hanging out. Let me know what you think. Have a great day. Bye.